Have you ever felt that you start your projects full of energy, but over time, the motivation simply fades away? Have you tried to build new habits but ended up giving up halfway, wondering why it's so hard to stay consistent? The good news is that it's not your fault. There's a scientific explanation for this lack of consistency, and more importantly, there are strategies that can change this forever. Today, you'll discover how to program your mind to build self-discipline in a practical and effective way. We'll explore science-backed techniques that help you overcome laziness, create powerful habits, and stay focused even when motivation disappears. Stick with me until the end, because what you'll learn here might be the missing key to achieving your goals and transforming your life. Most people face the same challenge. They start a project or try to implement a new habit with enthusiasm, but within a few days or weeks, that initial energy disappears. This is frustrating because it feels like we're always going back to square one. But here's the main point. It's not because you're lazy or incapable. The problem lies in how we approach habit and goal creation. The truth is that relying on motivation is a trap. Motivation is unstable and unreliable because it's directly tied to emotions, which constantly change. What you need is a solid system that works even when you're not in the mood. And that's exactly what we're going to build here, based on the science of self-discipline. To understand how to build self-discipline, we need to look at what science tells us about how the brain works. One of the most important concepts is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt when we repeat behaviors. Think of your brain as a forest. The most used paths become easier to follow. If you start repeating a new behavior, it will be difficult at first, but over time, it will become a clear and automatic path. Another key element is dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for the feeling of reward. Our brain is wired to seek immediate pleasures, which explains why we often choose to watch a series instead of studying or working. But by understanding how this mechanism works, we can use it to our advantage. Finally, there's the habit loop, which consists of 3 steps: the trigger, the routine, and the reward. This cycle is how we can create new habits and make them stick. Now that we understand how the brain works, let's move on to practical strategies you can start applying today. The first is the small steps technique. Often, we give up on a goal because it seems too big or intimidating. Break your goals into smaller, more manageable parts. For example, if your goal is to read more, start by reading just 1 page a day. This reduces the emotional weight of the task and makes it easier to take the first step. The second strategy is to create habit triggers. This means associating a new habit with something you already do daily. For example, if you want to start meditating, do it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. This type of connection creates an anchor, making the new habit easier to remember. The third strategy is to use rewards to reinforce progress. After completing a task, celebrate in some way, like watching an episode of your favorite series or enjoying something you like. Small rewards create a positive cycle that encourages repetition. Finally, remember that consistency is more important than initial intensity. It's better to do something every day, even for a few minutes, than to overdo it and burn out quickly. The secret lies in repetition. Even with these strategies, there will be days when motivation is low. And that's okay because discipline is made precisely for those moments. One effective technique for dealing with a lack of motivation is the 2-minute rule. When you feel resistance to starting a task, commit to doing just 2 minutes of it. Often, the simple act of starting eliminates procrastination and keeps you going. Another technique is result visualization. Take a few minutes to imagine how your life will be transformed when you achieve your goals. This practice creates a sense of purpose that helps you overcome moments of discouragement.